The Golden Age of Motorsport is a collection of films commissioned by Alec Mildren. Mildren was an important figure in the 1960s as a team owner and guiding light for drivers like Kevin Bartlett, Frank Gardner and Max Stewart. In this program, we've tried to maintain as much of the original sound and vision as possible. We start with the 1967 Australian Grand Prix from Warwick Farm, held as part of the Tasman Series.
The 32nd Australian Grand Prix was held at Warwick Farm in February 1967, in the middle of the Tasman Cup Series. We had entered in all the events in New Zealand and Australia so far, and were well placed in the point score. Frank Gardner was driving our new lightweight Brabham fitted with the short-stroke Climax engine. Kevin Bartlett was in a Formula One Brabham fitted with a long-stroke Climax.
Alec, following the very good performance at Wigram in New Zealand and then at Lakeside in Queensland.
Yeah, very happy indeed, Max. We're hoping to do as well today. Both our cars seem to be in excellent shape, and if we can go as good as next Lakeside, we'll be quite happy.
Had the best of luck in practice yesterday, Graham, but I understand a few of the local drivers have come to your aid.
Yeah, that's true. I had in the second session, I had a Crowman and pinion brake, and we managed to find one last night from Mr. Harvey, and then this morning we were having a look at the other gears, and we found that some of the gears cracked, so we had Mr. Howard, Les Howard, he went out to the circuits and took him about 2 hours to get some spare gears, and we're putting those in now.
Good. Well, we hope that it all works out fine for you and that you do well in your second. It looks like you might have the game in front of you. How do you think your chances are?
Well, it looks like being a very tough one today, Max. We've been having a bit of trouble in practice. We're hoping we've been able to solve some of the problems. We've discovered some things last night. And, but I think it's going to be a very good race anyway.
Championship win, Jack, and do you think that you can make this your 4th Australian Grand Prix?
Well, there's a lot of other people here going to try and stop me from making it my fourth, but I'm going to be up there trying anyway.
We hope you do for the sake of yourself and Redcar, of course.
Thank you.
To Max Sowell for assisting us with these interviews. The only driver we couldn't find was Jackie Stewart. He was having a snooze before the race. Graham Hill was making his only appearance in the series and was driving a new Formula 2 Lotus with a 1600cc Ford engine. Jenny Holm in the Resco V8 Brabham. Current world champion Jack Brabham was a firm favourite with the crowd. However, Jackie Stewart was on pole position with a record-shattering time of 1 minute 30.8 seconds. Jackie Stewart, Jim Clark and Graham Hill filled the first 3 places on the front row. In fact, the first 6 drivers inside Jim Clark's old lap record set 2 years ago in 1965. And now for the start, and away they go. Stewart jumps into the lead, followed by Clark and Brabham. Coming into Paddock Bend, Stewart leads Clark, followed by Brabham, Hill and Gardner in 5th place. Then Martin, Gagan, Holmes, Irwin and Bartlett. Coming into the causeway, Stewart and Clark set the pattern for the race. Hill is in 3rd spot, having taken Brabham in Creek Corner. Gardner is steady in 5th position. Spencer Martin and Leo Gagan are beginning their big battle. Holm in the V8 Brabham is lying 8th, followed by Irwin in the number 2 BRF. Bartlett settles down in 10th position to wait his chance. Jackie Stewart starts to draw away from Jim Clark, and there was nothing Clark could do about it. On the second lap through the causeway, the positions remain unchanged. However, Holm was not satisfied with 8th place and proceeded to move up, overtaking Gagan. Jackie Stewart continues his meteoric progress and is increasing his lead over Clark by a second a lap. 3rd time through the causeway, the positions remain the same. But if you look carefully, you'll see that Holm has moved up another peg and is now behind Gardner. Fourth time into paddock bend, note the distance between Stewart and Clark. Holm is now in 6th place behind Gardner. This is as far as he can get. Try as he may, he cannot pass Gardner. Bartlett now is in trouble. On the 3rd lap he broke a roll bar, and moments later the gear knob came away in his hand. A lesser man would have retired, but not Bartlett. He carried on, a trifle slower than usual, with the intention of finishing. Down in the pits, Glenn and Alec are keeping the clocks on Frank Gardner's progress. Bob Grange and Lionel Fargo are keeping the tabs on Kevin Bartlett. By the 19th lap, Stewart had lapped Bartlett and was some 10 seconds ahead of Clark. A furious battle between Gagan and Martin was coming to a head. A nice line to the causeway approached by Kevin Bartlett. By now Gardner was catching up to Brabham. The leader again, Stewart. Clark. Hill. Stewart hardly seems to slow down for the causeway. Gardner continues to whittle down the gap between him and Brabham. Following them is a savage battle between Gagan and Martin. It was resolved a lap later when Gagan finally got by Martin on the approach to Paddock Bend. A couple of laps later, Graham Hill was out with crown wheel failure, so Gardner moved up to 4th position. A few laps later, Gardner passed Brabham at Polo Corner and settled into a comfortable 3rd place. Leaders were now Stewart, Clark, Gardner and Brabham. Gagan was in 5th place despite a spin, and Martin had crashed. Holm had retired, leaving Bartlett in 6th place and still in the money. Stewart gets the flag to win the 32nd Australian Grand Prix, setting new records for the lap and average speed. Gardner drove very well to finish in 3rd place. The Governor of New South Wales, Sir Roden Cutler, was invited to the meeting, and he presented the prizes. Leo Gagan won a special prize for being the first resident Australian driver in the event. Wee Jackie Stewart climbs into the car for his lap of honour, loaded down with the loot. Back in the pits, Alec congratulates Frank Gardner on his splendid drive in the Australian Grand Prix. Now we are down to business for the next event, a 10-lap for touring cars, and we have entered our Alfa Romeo GTA. The main contenders in the race are Gagan in the Mustang, Foley in the Mini, and Gardner in the Alfa. An Alfa Romeo GTA is on the front row of the grid alongside Foley's Mini and Gagan's Mustang. Now for the start. Wait for it. Here they go, a terrific start, and the pack screams away all minutes. Coming into Paddock Bend is Gagan's Mustang, Foley in the Mini, Gardner in the Alfa, followed by a screaming pack of Buicks and other buses. Gagan had a clear lead into the causeway, followed by neatly. Looks as if we're going to be some fun in this race. Past the grandstand, it's Gagan, Foley and Gardner. Second time into the causeway, the Mustang was well in the lead, but the fantastic speed of Foley's very hot Mini has the crowd on its toes. The leaders streak past the grandstands again. Coming into Paddock Bend, Gagan shows his increasing lead while Foley and Gardner close up in their back. Third time into the causeway, the Mustang is well away, but now it's Gardner's superior speed down Hume Strait that was put in front of Foley. Now the leaders are Gagan, Gardner, Foley. Coming into Paddock then, the Mustang romps away, but Foley in the Mini is not going to give up to Gardner in the Alpha without a fight. Gagan's Mustang has it made in this race, whilst Gardner and Foley continue to fight it out in second and third places. However, Foley was unable to get past Gardner again and had to settle for third spot. The Alpha Mini drifts in unison through Paddock Bend. The Mustang thundered through again, but disaster struck Gagan soon after this, and he blew a head gasket and retired. This put the Alpha first and Mini second. With the Mustang out of the way, Frank Gardner in the Alfa Romeo GTA keeps in front of Brian Foley in the Mini Cooper and wins both his class and the race. And another very satisfactory day's racing for the old fox in the yellow shirt, the man who pays for it all, the Alec Mildren racing.